and radiological discharges in the environment, as well as the Reporting Center for Maritime Security and Railroad Incidents. If your call involves a medical emergency or life-threatening situation, please call 911 before making this notification. Please listen carefully to the following menu options. Material, please press 1. If you are calling to make an update,
so I pressed 1.
National Response Center, how can I help you?
Hey there, I'm wondering, who do I speak to regarding radio frequencies that are kind of high for their readings for a cell phone tower?
Is that what it's from? Do you think it's a cell phone tower?
No, I know it's a cell phone tower.
Oh, let me see something real quick. Hold on. What state are you in?
I'm in San Diego, California.
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
Thanks. Let's see.
So I can give you the EPA over there in California, if you like, and you can talk to them about it.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, do you have a pen?
Yes.
All right, so it's area code 916. 323 2514.
Okay, so the 916, but that's not a San Diego, that's not a San Diego number, so...
No, it's state level. It's probably not as local as, your city.
Okay,
but,
cool.
Yeah.
Thanks. I'll call them. Thank you for your help.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye-bye. Okay, so we're going to call them, the EPA, the number I was just given. So this is the number we're calling. Yes, I was wondering, who do I speak to regarding a cell phone tower that I'm getting some really high radio frequency readings from?
Usually radiation is handled by the California Department of Public Health.
California Department of Public Health?
Yeah, I could look up their phone number for you real quick. This Joe?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, it can be reached at area code 916.
916.
558.
Okay.
1784.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Bye-bye. Okay, so now we're going to call this number, the California Department of Public Health. So hang with me.
Verification and unsatisfactory health conditions in your local community, including health problems with restaurants, hotels, and other dwellings. Please call your county health department. A list of phone numbers for county health departments can be found on our website at www.cdph.ca.gov on the main page under popular topics listed as local health services.
Wow. Talk about
Please
the
listen
runaround.
carefully to the following 8 options. After pressing your selection, you're connected to a voicemail recording.
Okay, so you basically have to go online, so you have to have internet connection, so you have to have access to a computer. So, okay, I'm going to now look at the county health department. So let's go there next. So this is where I'm going to look around. Hang on. So, questions. So, environmental health, climate change, yeah, thanks. Environmental health, we'll look there. So, they say our environment affects our health. If parts of the environment like air, water, or soil become polluted, it can lead to health problems, for example, asthma attacks, talking about chemicals in the air. Some environmental exposures are part of the natural world, like radon in the soil. Others results in human activities. Human activities. Like cell phone towers, like those two on the left next to that water tower. Okay, so it says CDPH programs also promote health to prevent environmental pollution by supporting sound community development policies, blah, blah, blah. It goes to management, safe foods, drugs, and radiation safety. So we're going to call them out on that, radiation safety. So let's see, Environmental Health Investigation Branch. Let's go there. Let's see. So Environmental Health Investigations Branch. That's interesting because they have the care studies live. Oops, I wonder what's going on there. Their care study. Anyhow, they have for general public, they have 2 numbers for COVID, but I don't see anything for cell phones. So let's look about this. Okay, so they want to know if there are chemicals in our body that can harm our health, and they're doing a care study is measuring levels of chemicals in people across the state. We also collect information from participants, like their hobbies, their jobs. Yeah, if you still have a job, what they do and the places they live. That can help us understand how people come into contact with the chemicals. Right, they know areas of California where people have higher levels of chemicals in their bodies. So, next. Okay, so I'm back to the Environmental Health Investigations Branch. This says, updated guidance document available, how to reduce exposures to radio frequency energy from cell phones. What about cell phone towers? Let's go look there. Okay, so I get to how to reduce exposure to radio frequency energy from cell phones. You know, have they ever even thought to perhaps, here's the CDP, to not have the cell phone towers, like the small cells? So they're obviously acknowledging that there's a problem with this. Science is still evolving. Yeah, we know exactly what's going on. Oh, sperm count, headaches. I noticed that they don't mention the central nervous system being affected, which we know it does. Smart meters, microwave ovens. So when a phone sends signals to a tower, the RF energy goes from the phone's antenna out in all directions, including into the head and body of the person using the phone. You also don't even have to be on the phone to get that radiation. Cell phones also emit RF energy when using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but at lower levels. RF energy is not as powerful as our damaging to cells or DNA as some other kinds of electromagnetic radiation, such as X-rays, UVs from the sun. Yes, it is. They're lying. They're totally lying. Let's see, what else do we have? So don't rely on radiation shield or other products claiming to block RF energy or electromagnetic fields. Here's questions. So far I don't see a phone number. RF safety, there's the cell phone scams, there's electromagnetic fields and public health. Oh, they're blaming on the mobile phones. They're not blaming on the cell phone towers. Let's see. This says the FCC is responsible for regulating RF emissions from cell phones. The regulations were last updated 1996. Alright, so Okay, so now I'm back at the FCC because it says that they're the ones that are responsible for monitoring these. Frequently asked questions about safety of radio frequency and microwave emissions from transmitters and facilities. So we're going to call them. Ooh, look at that. 3 8s. 1-888-225-5322. Wow, lots of 22s, 22s, lots of 8s.
Federal Communications Commission, FCC. To continue in English, press 1.
Oh gosh.
Listen closely as our menu options have recently changed. If you are calling to report a tower light outage or a safety of life issue involving interference, press 1. If you are calling about a licensing, if you represent a public safety organization such as fire, police, or federal authority and you have an immediate safety of life problem, please dial the FCC's Crisis Management Center at 202-418-1122. That number again.
Wow, so basically they just said, oh gosh, sorry about that. So I just tried to call them and they basically only said if you're the authority, then they'll take your call, and then they just hung up.
You've reached the Federal Communications Commission, FCC.
So I'm going to speak English.
Please listen closely as our menu options have recently changed. If you are calling to report a tower light outage or a safety of life issue involving interference, press 1. If you are calling,
I pressed
if
1.
you represent a public safety organization such as fire, police, or federal authority and you have an immediate safety of life problem, please dial the FCC's Crisis Management Center at 202-418-1122. That number again for emergency calls only.
Emergency calls only.
202-418-1122.
Okay, then they hang up on you. Like nothing else happens. So, what is going on here? Wow, it just said, thank you for your call, goodbye. So they basically just said,
Thank you for your call. Goodbye.
great. So I want to search for complaints for cell tower radiation from the FCC, who's supposed to be responsible. And it just says no results. That's crazy. Okay, so this says what levels are safe for exposure to RF energy. Exposure standards for radio frequency energy have been developed by various organizations and governments, but they won't really tell you what these levels are, so I'm going to go look. Okay, so this states the FCC guidelines for human exposure to RF electromagnetic fields were derived from the recommendations of two expert, don't forget that word, you guys. I'm going to cover that in my next video. Expert organizations, the National Council on Radiation Protection and Measurements, NCRP, and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. Both the NCRP exposure criteria and the IEEE, that's IEEE, that could be I333, standard were developed by expert scientists and engineers after extensive reviews of the scientific literature related to RF biological effects. The exposure guidelines are based on thresholds for known adverse effects, and they incorporate prudent margins of safety. Oh my gosh, right. In adopting the current RF exposure guidelines, the FCC consulted with the EPA, FDA, OSHA, and NIOSH, and obtained their support in guidelines that the FCC is using. So we still don't have numbers, but I'm going to keep looking. Okay, I found this. So in addition, The NCRP, IEEE, and ICNIRP guidelines for maximum permissible exposure are different for different transmitting frequencies. This is due to the finding discussed above that whole body human absorption of RF, that's radio frequency energy, varies with the frequency of the RF signal. The most restrictive limits on whole body exposure are in the frequency range of 30 to 300 megahertz, where the human body absorbs RF energy most efficiently when the whole body is exposed. For devices that expose only part of the body, such as mobile phones, different exposure limits are specified. So we'll go look at those, but what about the towers? I want to see what the towers do, so let's go look at this. So this says the exposure limits used by the FCC are expressed in terms of SAR, electric and magnetic field strength, and power density for transmitters operating at frequencies from 100 kilohertz to 100 gigahertz. The applicable limits depends on the type of sources, e.g. whether a cell phone or a broadcast transmitting antenna. The actual values can be found on our information bulletin available in OET Bulletin 65. Okay, I'll go look there. Okay, we're here at the OET Bulletin number 65. Wow, it's been a while that they've updated that. And it's fcc.gov/general/OET-bulletins- line number 65. So this says the bulletin offers guidelines and suggestions for evaluating compliance. Suggestions. However, it's not intended to establish mandatory procedures, and other methods and procedures may be acceptable if based on sound engineering practices. Okay, so let's go look at this. OET 65. Federal Communications Commission Office of Engineering and Technology, and well, look at that. Look at that. It's a little triangle. Evaluating compliance with FCC guidelines for human exposure to radio frequency electromagnetic fields. So August 1997, the Federal Communications Commission. Look at that eagle on top of those radio towers with the upside down V. Y'all see that? They're the authors: Robert Cleveland Jr., David M. Silvar, and Jerry L. Ulchek. I was just curious about that name. Clue, Cook, or whatever. Luck, without the E. I just thought that was funny. E-Luck. Okay, back to serious business. Thanks, Jerry. Good E-Luck to you too. Well, and look at this. Look at all the people they have to acknowledge. Global Star. Huh. Electromagnetic Energy Association. Well, there's no conflicts here, huh? National Institute of Occupational Safety. Richard Tell Associations. Okay, let's get back to business.